Yes, there it is. Ladies, you good tonight?
We're good.
Yes, yes,
We
yes.
all we all ready to talk. You know we love to talk, so we're gonna have a good show tonight. Even though we don't have a guest tonight, we're still gonna have a good show. So
That's it.
we hope that our favorite listeners and viewers will be on with us tonight to see what we've got to say and see what's going on. We got a rollout of week in review. Victoria, beautiful Queen Victoria, you're going to be going,
Yes.
and Ruth, you're going to be going next. I'll be bringing up the rear, as they say, on that last part. I got a little bit of everything from my weekend review. Smorgasbord for me.
Good.
We had a good replay last week, and I'm still thinking
Mhm.
about the McKinneys and
Yes.
the whole world knows that was really good. So I'm glad that we get a chance sometimes to revisit some of our shows and go back and really get the thoughts of the book in our minds and in our mindsets. But I think we're looking pretty good. Ruth reminded us that we got guests for the rest of the month, and we're glad about that. And
Yo.
if we don't have anything else, then I'm good to roll them. Well, how about you two?
Sounds
Let's
good
go then.
too. Let's roll 'em.
All righty, here we go. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to what? What are we at? Oh, here we go.
Wait, I think we need to put her where she belongs because she out of order.
I'm out of my box.
There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Authors Up. We are
Oh.
so happy that no, not working.
No.
Hey, everybody. We're glad to be back with you on Authors Up, our favorite place to be on Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Glad that you have decided to join us. Bring a friend in, share the broadcast with someone. We always have something that is interesting. Is interesting for all of our viewers, whether you are authors or whether you are not authors, aspiring authors, people who may just like to read, whatever the circumstance is. And for those people who just want a little downtime on a Sunday evening and just want to have a little bit of fun and relax. So we thank you for joining us. Glad that you are here. And let me officially welcome my co-host tonight, Ruth Griffin. Good evening to you. Glad to have you.
Good evening.
Okay. And Queen Victoria, glad to have you tonight.
Good evening, everybody.
Everybody. Well, we're going to get started like we usually do. And that means we're going to have our week in review. Good evening, Linda. We see you hiding out there in the corner. Thank you, lady. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, Victoria, what was going on with your week?
Well, I spent half my week in another part of this great country of ours. I was finishing up my visit with my sister. I was in Alabama and then Tennessee, and got back Wednesday. I'm just gonna say this about my trip home. Let me tell you what happened. I was on my way home, and I had a short window between my flight. I got from Tennessee to Charlotte, and then I had a half an hour in between. Well, I have handicap service, and the handicap service was not in place, even though I had called and asked them to call ahead, blah, blah, blah. So I asked them to call ahead, and it was not there. I get to the counter. The lady called. They still weren't there. Long story short, because the handicap assistance wasn't in place, I missed my flight. And I was upset. I was upset. I was not the happiest camper, but I didn't cuss. I didn't do any of that. I was just profoundly disappointed because I don't like the service anyway. Hey Leah, how you doing tonight? And hey Trilyn. I don't like needing the assistance in the first place. I don't like admitting that I needed the help. And so it's not a good thing for me anyway. Okay. So when I missed the flight, I was just so upset. So the guy, he came and rolled me and said, I'll take you to customer service. We'll get you on the next flight. Okay. Then he handed me off to somebody else who took me to the bathroom. And I've been going through the book, The Purpose-Driven Life, with a group called I Am Sarah. We meet on Saturday mornings, and we're going through, and we're about halfway through the book. So it's just an amazing. It has 40 chapters. It's, beautiful book. A nice plug for the book. If you've never done it, get The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. It will change your life. So I went in the bathroom and I just said, Victoria, it's no sense getting upset. It is what it is. I have that kind of personality anyway. I'll go with the flow anyway. So anyway, I get out the bathroom, go to get back in the wheelchair. There is a book stand at the little store that was right by the bathroom. I sit down, and you know what book I looked right at, right? The Purpose-Driven Life. Right in my face. And let me tell you, I just know that God does all things well. There's no coincidences when you live a life according to his purpose. And I said, in that moment, I said, see, I don't know what God has in store for me. Maybe there's somebody he wants me to reach. There's somebody he wants me to talk to about Jesus. Maybe there's somebody that he just wants me to spread joy with. And I said, okay. So I sat down and the lady asked me, was I said all right? And I said, yes. You know why I'm all right? Because I missed that flight just so I can meet you. Did you go to church Sunday? So we started talking, and she started me telling me about her brother who was autistic. She rolled me to the gate, met another lady who had missed the flight too because they had forgot to take her car seat off of the plane that she had for a little boy. So she was a frustrated mom. I was able to talk to her and get her smiling again with just one person after the other. This other lady, older lady, was there. She started singing hymns, and me talk about the old hymns. There's a fountain, old hymn. We started harmonizing. People looking at us like we crazy, but I had a good old time. I love to sing. So I just know that everybody I came in contact with, I spread a little joy in that airport. And I felt like, you know what, God, that's what it was for. By the time I got to the RDU, my luggage had already there. I mean, everything just went so seamless. And so to me, that was really what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to spread the love of God and joy throughout that airport. And I had me a good old time riding in that chair. And so sometimes you have to change your perspective. Change your perspective. It's not all doom and gloom. But if I had behaved a different way, not only would it have been a different way for me inside of me internally, I would have spread misery instead of joy. But that's not my purpose. And so when I saw that book and realigned my mind with what my purpose was, it was just smooth sailing from there. So it was all good. So the rest of my week was pretty good. Got back to work, got everything back in line, got all my work back together. And all I can do is just be who I am. So, and that's Joy. My mom always says she should have named me Joy instead of Victoria, but that's it. That was my week in review.
Awesome.
That is cool.
Ruth?
Okay. So this week I hit the halfway mark for the online fan fiction that I'm writing, chapter by chapter.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I hit chapter 31, I think it was. Yes. I posted chapter 31 out of 63. And I'll tell you what, just, I've published 9 other books, I've got more planned. Doing it this way, serializing it has just been such an awesome experience that I think that that's going to be my go-to going forward. So,
Ooh.
yes, I'm excited for it. And just, I'll be honest, interacting directly with your audience just changes that experience. Because I mean, even, we'll talk part, we've mentioned it in tips before, in promotion and marketing, you want to ask for those reviews. But, just sitting there having a conversation with your audience as you're putting out a chapter, as they're telling you, hey, I can't wait for next week, this. And the thing is, because it's posted online, people can now find it later.
Good.
So I had this comment this week by someone who just found it, and she left about midway, like chapter 15. She said, I started reading this fic yesterday. As many have already told you, I was reluctant about the idea about the 2 characters getting together, mostly because I underestimated his character. But boy, what a work you've got here. I'm completely engrossed in your writing. I've been reading for a couple of hours now. This is by far one of the best that I have read.
Yay!
So I was
Good for
just
you.
over the moon with that. But I am just so excited. I've already got it laid out, and there are certain rules to it, and I'm using this as my practice for when, for the next 3 projects that I've got planned. But this is just, I think that honestly, more authors should probably look into this, especially if you write fiction. It's a different story when you
Yeah.
do nonfiction, but because I mean, it's honestly, I think we're just going back to the days prior to mass production, and everything
Mhm.
that I'm reading is swinging back the pendulum towards the authors. Authors can get paid for doing this. You write a book, it's the publishing house getting paid. So,
Right. Right.
it's whatever fits your model, but this is something that definitely works for me, and I'm just enjoying it.
Good for
So
you.
that has been my week. And it's gonna be my week for like the next 32 weeks. So
Well, congratulations to
thank you.
you.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Andrea, how was your week?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Trelyn, I say hey to you. I know Victoria welcomed you earlier, but good evening to you. Thanks for being with us tonight. Um, I had a lot going on. I even made notes because I didn't want to forget. I did not want to forget my weekend review. Um,
Okay.
One thing that I did was I selected all of the pieces, have not gone in depth with them to sort out what I'm going to keep and what I'm going to kind of discard for this round. But I'm working on volume 2 of And It Is So, which is the best of 8 at 8. And I've got all of the pieces selected, so I'm glad about that. So I'll start going back through and looking at them and seeing which ones I'm going to keep. I kept my commitment and did a chapter a day of our writing project from November. So I'm getting in the swing of things. I was not allowed to put it on the shelf, take a deep breath, and say,
Mm-mm.
I will get to it. So I'm on it. I am on it, on it, on it. And I'm excited about it. And that's a good thing.
Good.
Medical stuff, I always got some medical stuff going on, but I did get my eyes checked and they are good. No
All
diabetic
right.
issues, no problems, no nothing, and didn't need to change my prescription. Ha ha! Very
Oh, yes. Awesome.
mm. Had a show, my When Life Speaks show. We talked about faith after 50, and it brought up you made me think about it, Victoria, because I have had so many sidebar conversations about that program. It ran for 2 nights, one on When Life
Mhm.
Speaks and the other on Whole and Beautiful. And one of the issues that came up had to do with the airport.
Oh, wow.
and what happens now when you're
Yes.
in the aging process, or in the process. It doesn't even have to be an aging process, but a process of needing support that you did
Yes.
not need before. And
Yes.
one of the things happened to be talking about the airport. So someone had said that this is something that these are discussions that we need to have, that we don't always get to have. So I was really, really happy to hear you bring it up, because it just kind of solidified that this is something that we need to keep going, maybe in
Yeah.
a different forum. Now, my last weekend review was today. Today, my granddaughter had decided that she wanted to get baptized. We were all set to go to the baptism. My daughter was going to pick me up, and she called me and she said, "Mom, we got a flat."
Uh-oh.
I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, we got a flat tire."
Oh
So
no.
Christian's going to come pick up Jasmine, and Melissa's going to get her husband to come change the tire, and then I'll be on my way to you. And I mean, we had this thing just going like you would not believe. So we did have somebody to come and change the tire. She did come and get me. We did get to church on time. Everything was going along great. And
Good.
they had it outside, which was beautiful because it was a nice day today. And we took pictures and got everything done. And we were going to, go get something to eat afterwards. And we got ready to leave. And Lynn called me and said, "Ma, the donut is flat."
Oh my. Oh my.
Okay.
I was like, "What?" But it was like you were saying, Victoria. And we got a program coming up soon that Lynn's going to be part of, talking about Count It All Joy.
Joy.
Just Count It All Joy. Because I kept thinking, what could have happened?
Right.
She could have been
Right.
on the highway,
Highway. Right.
blow out. The young lady who was going with it, her husband could have been at work. They could not, they may not have been a second car available. When we came out of church, we may have been in an area where there was no gas station where we could, put air in the spare tire and get where we needed to go. So I just kind of had to sit back like you did at the airport and think, okay, oh, well, here we go. On to the next.
Exactly.
What are the odds? What are the odds? But everything, we got where we wanted to go, where we needed to go, and we
Yes.
were on time for everything that had to happen. And I think one of the other things, since the three of us have not been together, was I went to a comedy show, and
Yeah.
I've not been
Oh, how
Sure.
nice.
forever. So I have made it my business to be good to myself and try at least once a month to do something a little different and get out and do something to make myself smile.
Good
And
for you.
yeah. So my weekend review was on point, on top. I loved it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, you got the prize. You got it.
Right?
All right.
Okay. Well, Ruth, why don't you tell us what we're going to talk about tonight, and tell our listeners and viewers what's on tap for today.
Oh, absolutely. So, part of it, we say that we are a forum for authors by authors. And, as you stated, we got some listeners who just enjoy hearing us. And thank you so much for that. We do have some authors who tap into our show. We have people who just come on to get book ideas,
Yeah.
just to get ideas what to read next. And, we are grateful for all of you guys. One of our flagship things that we do is to offer tips. And tonight we're going to talk about, from start to finish, tips and tools to promoting the work you are working on. Because
Yes.
you know what? We live in I mentioned earlier that, we're the pendulum is swinging back to the author. There are a lot of trends happening in the publishing world. And to be honest, authors have to take the responsibility of promoting their work. We like to say that, oh no, I enjoy the writing part. Yes. But now you need to get good at the promoting part too, especially if you want people to read your book. So it looks nice on the shelf, especially behind Victoria there, but it'll look better on someone else's shelf.
Yep.
And that is what we are going for.
There
So,
you go.
yeah, so tonight I've got a few tips to help you with your promotional promotion of your book. And Andrea and Victoria, I want you guys to jump in. Elder, I know I've included one that I know you have shared with me that you have done in the past, and this is the one that I share with everyone because I think it just works. So, but please jump in
Okay.
when because I want you guys to share what has worked.
Okay.
And if something hasn't worked for you, that's okay. It's not going to work for everyone, but I will say the only thing that will not work for everyone is if you do nothing.
Nothing.
So I'm gonna just put that out there right now. If you don't do
Right.
nothing, that's not gonna work for you. So, um,
Exactly right.
so we want to start off with social media. And not
Yeah.
everyone is on social media, and I get that. And there are so many out there, but the key to this is finding the one that you're good at and the one that works for you. At this point, I don't recommend anybody be on Twitter. So if you
Mm.
are and that works for you, God bless you and great for you. But there are so many out there. And actually, as much as I don't like Facebook, Facebook is actually pretty good for local communities. It's good for groups and subgroups and different areas where you can find your niche audience. So if that is something that you work, that you are do every day, if that's something that you are on, I would recommend, continue doing that. If you're not on Instagram and you don't know what Instagram is, I don't recommend you start doing it. So, I jumped off of social media a few years ago. And when I wanted to come back on, I had a conversation with my daughter, and she was like, well, you might, instead of just jumping on what everyone else is on, look out there and look to see what fits you. And she was like, as a writer, you might want to look into Reddit. Um,
Mm.
Twitter wasn't yet the cesspool that it is now, but she was like, well, as a writer, you might want to look into that one as well. I did not go back on Twitter, but Reddit has just been amazing because it was created for writing. It's created to touch on certain, subgroups of writers. So I am on that and I'm active on that. Another one is Substack. And this is created specifically for authors. And a lot of the stuff that they do is monetized. So,
Mhm.
that is where I have found that I am, that excels for me. And the key is again is to find what excels for you and not to rule anything else out because again Pinterest, who thought, is actually not as toxic as everything else. So, what I'm discovering is authors are using Pinterest, to, if you write a book, you have ideas. I have this one crime author that I follow out of, I think she's in Germany now, but she puts a Pinterest board together for all of her books that she writes. Hers are Victorian mysteries. So she
Okay.
will find archaic photos. She will find photos of like England in 1868 or anything that has to do with her topics. And she'll put boards together and she'll share that with people who are interested in her writing. So that is something that you can look into. And believe me, there are a lot of people who will follow you on that. I
Oh
used it
wow.
mostly just as a repertoire for images that I wanted to keep. But the next time I looked, I had over 400 followers.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wasn't even trying. So
Right. Right. Right.
don't knock it, because wherever you can find a following and wherever you can work it to build it, that will help you in promoting your book. So
Mhm.
Right.
that's
Thank you
first.
for that. I had never thought of Reddit
Mhm.
or what's the other one you said?
Substack. That one's
Substack.
fairly. I won't say it's fairly new, but it's beginning to get traction, especially with the serialization
Okay.
for authors.
Gotcha.
But there is so much out there. I would just encourage people to look. out there and just to see. I have friends who are on LinkedIn. For the life of me, I still can't figure out how to work LinkedIn, but they're making it work. So
Yeah.
find what
I'm
works
on
for you.
LinkedIn, but I never thought to use it for my books.
No,
You
but you
know.
can. You can.
Huh.
Yep. So, um, let's see. I want to say start now.
Okay.
Don't wait until your book is published because at that point it's already too late.
Oh,
So start building your audience now. I always tell my authors, you know what? Your goal should not be about how many books you're selling. It should be about building your audience. And you want
gotcha.
to start that now.
Okay.
Because they're the ones who are going to be buying your books. They're the ones who will support you. They're the ones who are going to help you when it comes to promoting your book. You will get that first, it'd be like a ripple effect. You can drop a stone in water and just see how it ripples out. That first one is you, but the next ones are the people that you draw in. They're your audience and they're going to keep growing it, but you have to start now before your book is even finished, to be honest. I have
Oh, wow.
followed some authors who are like, yeah, my book is going to come out October 2025. That's a good year and a half from now, but they're promoting it now. They're
Okay.
sharing about it now. They're sharing their journey with their audience. And
Gotcha.
that's, it is important to start now. So, all right.
Good,
I like
good,
that.
good tip.
All
Yes.
right. This one's my favorite one. And Andrea, I know you can speak to this one. You want to get cheerleaders. You want to get people who will support you, who will back you up. If you post something about them, about your book, about your writing, they're the ones who are going to come up behind you and repost it and share it and tell everybody, you need to go get this book.
Right.
So, Andrea, I know you've had experience with that one.
Yep, I certainly have, and I love it.
Yep.
I love it, and I know these are the tips and tools that work, but there's some things that don't work. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing that works for me about the cheerleader piece is the consistency of it. And I find that is probably the one of the, because I'm not going to say I only have one, but the biggest downfalls is being consistent in promoting your book, and getting it out there. And when you're getting the comments from your cheerleaders and they are sharing, it's a good motivator for me to continue, or to try a different stream, or to do something that is specific to the book. And really looking at something that you said, which is very important, which is, look at the things that you're doing and make them work for you. We have a lot of us have different forums that we are a part of, different groups that we are a part of. And, when did you tell your group about your book? When did you tell your prayer group about your book? When did you tell your online, group of sisters about your book? So
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of things sometimes that I think we are involved in that we can tap into that we don't, because we're looking to do it a specific way. So I know this time around, I am beginning now to look at those things and look at those spaces, and to see what I can create within the spaces that I already have,
Mm-hmm.
so that, by the time the book is released, I will have already gained some traction and some interest
Mm-hmm.
in it, and to definitely pull my cheerleaders in and say, look, we're getting ready to do this thing, and do some kind of what I a gratitude promotional thing. That's what I'm going to call it, a gratitude promotion. because there are some people who have been very faithful and who have been faithful in following, and to prepare something for them that says, my first 10 books are going to go to, or, my first 15 are going to go to, or whatever. It's worth it in the long run, because you do get that interest and you do keep your cheerleaders cheering, keep your cheerleaders cheering for you. So yeah, I'm going to work it a different way, but I'm definitely going to keep at it.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to say that it's funny that you said consistency, because just to go back to social media for a moment, I would say consistency. I was going to say that was going to be something I was going to talk about too, was consistency. I have done social media blitzes, so to speak, on all the platforms that I'm on. I do TikTok, I do Instagram and Facebook. I'm never been a Twitter or X or whatever they call it now, but I've never done that. But it's about, like, I might take the same campaign and I'll put it across all three platforms, right? And then I may come back, let's say 2 days later, and do it again. And I felt a little timid. I'll be honest with you. I felt a little timid at first about it. I'm like, well, they just saw that. So, nobody's going to want to see it again. But then the thought came, listen, if I'm not going to toot my own horn, who else is going to do it? This is my book. This is especially the Joy book. This is something I was a part of. I'm proud to be part of Joy 365, and I'm going to keep pushing it. And so I slacked off a little bit, but when we were first in the depths of the campaign, like every other day you'd see it. I made a Facebook the cover sheet, the cover photo, was the book Joy 365. And so it's about consistency, because just because you may think somebody saw it Monday, you may get somebody Wednesday who didn't see it Monday. It's about consistency. And I have never figured out those algorithms and all of that. I don't know. There's a science to it, but I do know consistency is a key. So I plan to do that when I rebrand my first book and the second book. I got to push it. I'm proud of the works that I'm doing. So why not push it? Why not push it myself? Why wait for somebody else to pick up the bandwagon? This is something that I have worked hard for. This is something that I took the time to write, and blood, sweat, and tears. I'm going to push it, and it's my brand. I have to push my brand.
And we're looking at, on the 18th, a sort of a relaunch on that Joy 365.
Yes,
because the three of us are coming together on When Life Speaks, and we're going to talk about this issue of joy, and we're going to do whatever marketing package we each choose to put together.
That's it.
Get back here. It's a good opportunity to restart. It's a good opportunity to restart. And it's interesting, you said something about thinking that everybody saw it already.
Right.
I was looking at something, and you know how it'll come up on your Facebook feed, who the comments and things that people make. And I saw one and I thought, oh my gosh, that post was so old, but they were just getting to it. They were just getting to it. They were just seeing it. So I think you are absolutely right. We have to become our own marketing house.
We do.
And be willing to do whatever it takes.
Yes,
change the mindset. A change of mindset.
Absolutely.
Is really key. It's really key.
Yeah, I am my best cheerleader.
You are the head cheerleader.
How
Let's
about
put it
that?
that way? Yes, you are the head cheerleader.
Right.
You're the captain. So now you got to get your squad. So
I like that.
All right. So next one is to build an email list, because as much as we hate email, it is not going away ever.
And I haven't done that. I'll be the first to admit I had not done that. I did not have an email campaign at all for any book.
Well, now is a good time to start. And that's the thing, because we've already, honestly, we all have friends, we have acquaintances, we have people, that we can begin, reach out to them, say, hey, I want to start an email list. Can I put you on there? There are free platforms that you can use, like MailChimp.
Okay.
iContact, they have free um, levels accounts that you can use, where you can build a professional newsletter or an e-blast, something to send out. And honestly, it it only takes a few minutes to learn. The learning curve is not it's not that difficult, because a lot of them want you to use their platform. So
Okay.
they're going to walk you through it. But the thing is it is important to get those, because those are some of you that you can build off of and you can continue using. And again, going back to like some of the platforms I talked about, like Substack, those work off of, there is an app, there is a website, but those work off of newsletters. And it's
Okay.
basically they're just sending you out a newsletter with whatever you post, whatever you're writing that week or that month or whatever it is. So it is an additional way to build your audience and to continue building it. You can put a sign up on your website or in your social media or whatnot, and just have people join themselves. But you can also add to the list, as long as you have permission, and people will have permission to come off of your list.
Okay.
But the key is start building it, because that gives you the opportunity to, again, communicate directly with your audience. You're sending them this stuff out. Again, I jumped back on Instagram. I don't do too much with it yet, but ended up finding this author who I now found out she's out of Australia. I haven't jumped off of the mailing list because I want to see what else she's done. I've already gotten, and this is going to be my next one, giveaways. I got an advanced
Mm.
reader's copy. She sends out free ebook promotions, for her book, which hasn't been released yet, but I got a
Oh,
copy of it, and it's things like that. But because I joined her newsletter, I joined her email list, now I know who this author is, and I know what her writing is like and that type of thing. And again,
yeah.
you always have the opportunity to jump off of it, but that is an opportunity also to build your list, to build your audience, and to promote your work. Because now I know one of her books, but I will know about more of her books. I will know about what she's working on. I will know about what she wants to do. So
So it's
I
building
think
up
that one is important.
anticipation for whatever she's
Yeah,
got coming out. Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Ruth, you mentioned Read It.
Reddit.
R
Reddit.
R.
Reddit.
Yes. Yes. Reddit.
Reddit.
Okay. And
Yep.
spell the other one. R.
Sub
Substack.
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 Okay. Substack. Okay.
Yes. And then there are other ones. There are authors on so there's this one Japanese author. She started on Reddit, posted all her work. She went to Patreon to monetize her work. She got picked up by a publishing company and now sells her books on Amazon. And I do believe that her books will be picked up as an anime. But
Oh,
again, that's the thing. If I could not afford her work, I could go back to Reddit and just read all her older stuff. But more often than not, I choose to support the author, so I can say, okay, well, I can support her via Patreon and I'll get advanced um, chapters, or I can go to Amazon and just pick up a copy of her book. So it's just, all these platforms have their advantages, and it's good to see, especially if you know what you want to do. Again, like I said, I want to serialize my work here going forward. So it's up to me to pick the best possible platform to do
Right.
that.
Right.
And
Right.
again, utilize it for promotion as well.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right. Book covers.
oh.
Yeah, book covers are important. We all say, "Oh, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover," but we all
We
do.
do.
We
We
all
do.
do. We all
And
do.
titles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but you know what? Even if you have like the same title as everyone else, which I don't recommend you do, it's all how you present it. So,
Okay.
but again, it's promoting the work that you're working on. If you have an idea for your book, start again, use Pinterest. Start putting a board together. If you have an idea what you want the cover to look at, like, and you can put it together, or you can find someone who can do that for you, you can pay for them, then, put it together now. Do something, I don't want to say trendy, but pay attention to what's out there. A lot of romance novels now have illustrations on them, in case you didn't notice that. We're moving away from the Harlequin, beefy chested guy to now they're AI generated illustrations.
Yeah.
I personally don't care for them, but you know what? That's what's selling. Again, a lot of like leadership or nonfiction books, they're veering away from specific images and now going to just generic images of colors that pop. So
Okay.
understanding what is out there, just go to Amazon, go to Goodreads, and just find out, other books that are in your genre and see what everybody else is doing. I'm not saying copy them, but
But
you'll
just
get an
look, see what's
idea of,
trending.
right, you'll get an
Mhm.
idea of how you can make yours pop out, because again, that's going to draw readers. Even
Mhm.
before you publish the book, this will help in promoting it because now you have an image to put out there. Now you have people talking about it, and you can get that conversation started simply because you have a great image to go with it.
Sounds
So,
good.
yep. And my last key, and I think I've already mentioned this one, but I want to make it official. What are other authors doing? What are, and again, there is a big divide between the traditional market and the self-publishing and then the smaller presses. But find out what other people are doing. Find out how other people are promoting them. Find out how they're promoting them on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media. How are they sharing it? Are they doing reels? Are they doing trailers? Are they doing videos? Are they doing readings for them? How are other people promoting them? And I'm not saying, again, we want to copy, we want to find what works for you, and then you can copy that, figure out how you can make it work. So if someone else is putting together a book trailer, and I had always kind of scoffed at these because I was like, no, I'm reading a book. Why would I put a trailer together? Because it generates interest. It generates conversation. And it actually, if it's done pretty well, it'll have a life beyond anything you can say about your book. So you
Mm.
can put it out there and you don't know where it's going to end up. And that can be a good thing. So just see what other people are doing. I'm not on TikTok, but there is, a whole subgroup out there called Book Talk. On Instagram, there's the Bookstagram, and they do different things to promote their book. They do different things to promote reading, to promote literacy, to promote, hey, let's do more than sit here on social media, which is kind of ironic since they're using social media to do that, and just read. So go out there, see what your favorite author is doing. Go out there and see what other authors in your genre are doing, and then see what might work for you.
Hmm.
So those
Good.
are the tips that I have.
And
Oh,
those are good tips. Those are good tips. And there is nothing wrong with shameless plugs.
Absolutely not.
That's one thing Victoria said is my book. I ought to be able to promote my own book. And
that's
that's
it.
something that we really are not always as good at doing uh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
as we should be. You
Right.
know,
That's right.
when there's cause for celebration for you and what you've done or what people are recognizing that you have done, talk about it, put something
Right.
out there. I've got somebody that I'm following now, and I know she posts something at at least twice a day,
Mhm.
normally about twice a day. They're not long things, it might be a tip, it might be a congratulation to somebody else, could be a picture of her and her grandson, could be, it could be anything, but it is something out there
That's right.
all the time,
Right.
all the time. And that's what, when I thought about the consistency, when is the last time that I posted something about any of my books?
Right.
When was the last time that I told somebody something about any of my books? I have a captive audience. We have a captive audience on Sunday night. You have one twice a month, Victoria. I have one once a month. When is the last time we ended a show talking about one of our products,
Mm-hmm.
or started a show, or gave an offer, or said, this week I'm going to give, I'm going to sell,
Right.
I'm going to do this half price, I'm going to do, whatever, whatever it is. When's the last time that you did it? And I'm thinking about it now, and I'm thinking, when I go out there for me, as me, to do something, to talk about what I am doing, I gotta mention my own books.
Yeah.
Right.
I have to be able to do that. I have to do it. And it's just something that I don't think about doing, but I'm going to be more intentional, more cognizant of it this time around.
I think it has to do with the mindset that we don't want to toot our own horn, or we don't want to be selfish. And as Christians, right, we shouldn't draw attention to ourselves, that kind of thing. But I dare say, because it's changing the mindset, that if God has given us the tools and put it in our hands and in our minds, and it's been brought into the earth, then we need to get this into someone else's other people's hands. And so we need to begin to do that. We really do need to begin to do that. So shameless plug, come tomorrow night. Living Life Victoriously will be right here on ALH Broadcasting and YouTube. Living Life Victoria. Come join me tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Absolutely. It's a good thing to do. And I'm not going to toot my own horn every now and then. I'm going to have a parade.
There you go.
Come on now.
I'm going to have a full-fledged parade. And they're going to be glad about it.
That's it.
We had we're going to have a drum major. We were talking earlier about the captain of the cheering squad.
That's it.
Those things. Whatever you need to call it, whatever you need to name it, whatever you need to do that will keep you motivated, keep your faithful followers interested and listening. Yes, ma'am. Trelynn said, let's go, Elder. Hey, I'm on it. I'm ready. And I hope that you all will be able to see the change. And every now and then on our weekend review, we ought to be talking about what we are doing,
Mm-hmm.
to promote our own stuff. If we don't do anything else, we need to be doing that. So Ruth, as always, you start the wheels are turning.
Yes.
And we appreciate that. Good tips. As Trelynn said, good tips as usual. And I'm about to be the major. Look, when you get the official invitation, Trelynn, don't turn it down. We'll be looking for you. Well, that's it for us for tonight. Victoria, do you have any closing comments?
No,
Get
that's
the
it.
book. Get everybody's book.
Get everybody's book. I really am excited about the new books on the horizon. I really got to do better and get into it. I am determined that this book is going to come out this year, and it's my first love story, and I'm excited about it. I really am. So I got to act like I'm excited about it, right?
I am too. It's a good story, and I am excited about what you're doing and what you're going to do to complete it. I think it's good. I think
You too. You too. I'm more excited about yours than mine, but that's all right.
Well, Ruth, what closing comments do you have for us tonight? You've given us such great information throughout the program, but you always have a wrap up.
I do. And I just want to thank our audience for coming in, for listening to us, for watching us, wherever you are coming from. We are grateful to you. There will be a replay on Facebook on Saturday at 7 p.m. If you're not on Facebook, you can watch us on YouTube, or you can download our podcast midweek. It'll be available. We are on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and that's at Authors Up Show. Try to make it easy for you. So just look for that handle. You can also email us at authorsup@gmail.com if you want like to talk about being on the show. If you have any questions, anything that we can share with you, just shoot us an email, authorsup@gmail.com.
All righty. Thank you so much, Ruth. Ruth will always tell you how to find us, how to get in touch with us, and how we can keep this wonderful thing going that we call the Authors Up program.
Yep.
So thank you all for being with us. As she said, we will be right here next week. We have a guest next week, and that means we have an exciting book to tell you about and have our guest tell you about. Maybe she'll read a little bit from her book. Her book, his book? Is it her book? Her book.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready next week, and we hope that you will come back and join us then. That's it for us for tonight. Again, thank you for being here, and listen to the replay. Share. You know somebody who's a writer, who's an author, who's getting ready to publish, or whatever the situation may be. You be sure that you share Authors Up with them and invite them to join us, because you never, ever, 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 ever can be sure of what's going to happen when you tune in to Authors Up. That's it for us for tonight. Good night, Ruth. Good night, Victoria.
Good night,
everybody. Hopefully, we'll see you next week right here, 7 p.m.
Night, Bronze Girls.
Good night.